It started out like any other Tuesday night in Orlando, with a half-empty arena and a loose ball foul, until Kyrie Irving decided to put on an absolute show. That began with a wide-open pull-up three into drop coverage, and about 2 minutes later, with the big man a touch closer on the screen, Irving went for another one, and it was game on. On the next trip, the Magic bring the big man up to the level of the screen, and Kyrie says, "Who needs a screen?" and just takes his man off the bounce, collapsing the defense, and then the no-look drop-off for the cutting dunk. And that look away helps move Mo Bamba out of the paint, oblivious to the cutting Bruce Brown. A minute later, Kyrie pushes it in transition, and when he hits a wall, makes like Steph Curry and relocates for a three ball in the corner pocket, and at that point there was a minor buzz in the stands. Since he drained 3 quick threes in 3 minutes, he fakes a heat check from the logo and then attacks off the bounce, getting a step and patiently up-faking back to the right to finish around a big defender. 11 points to start is nice, but here's where I suspected something was brewing in the Magic Kingdom. Irving runs to the corner and goes with the no-dip three-pointer off the catch, and the net barely moves. That led to an actual heat check from logo range.
You were serious about that?
So then the Magic started picking Kyrie up at half court, and with Kevin Durant hypnotizing Markelle Fultz, there's no one in the lane to help on the front. And did I mention Brooklyn scored 150 points in this game? The Magic transition defense was all out of sorts. Some of that was obsessing over Durant, Kyrie in the backcourt, and staying up high on his screens. But there were also frequent breakdowns in transition, which led to multiple runouts for the Nets. Because of that, it was another few minutes before Irving could even go back to work, and it was another pick and roll with the big up at the screen, and Kyrie attacks him off the dribble, only to pull up from 19 and swish another deep jumper. At this point, Irving actually hurt his left hand and checked out for a bit, but when he came back at the start of the second, that left hand looked fine, blowing by another Magic defender, and then slithering around Mo Wagner for 2 more. After a pair of free throws gave him 20 in the half, Kyrie exploded downhill into Wagner, and his outside shooting makes this happen because Wagner lunges to defend the pull-up, only Kyrie attacks that top foot, then uses his body as a shield to create space. And this is part of what makes him such a sublime finisher, shifting into defenders' bodies with the ball on a string, giving himself better angles at the cup. At this point, it's all eyes on Irving, so they just clear out a side to give him a handoff, only he backdoors the overplaying defender and slips in for another bunny. A minute later, it's more finishing wizardry, going to a crossover against a big man, and then finishing with the left hand this time. The Magic then try picking him up in the backcourt, but he just leaves that defender in the dust and puts Orlando back in transition hell with a little running pocket pass for more free throws. Since Kyrie victimized Mo Wagner a few times, he thought it was only fair to bring his brother Franz into the act, taking him off the dribble this time for another trip to the stripe. And a minute later, the Nets run staggered screens for Irving. Wendell Carter lunges toward him this time, so Kyrie attacks him, only to mix it up and fire from 22. And who needs threes when you're this hot? I'll tell you who needs threes. Me, because they're worth more than twos. And at this point, the Magic fans were starting to cheer on the unconscious Irving. So, with everyone in the gym knowing where the ball was going, the Magic leave poor RJ Hampton on Kyrie Island, and he just snaps right into another pull-up, and as they used to say, "Oh my, he's on fire!" On the very next play, they run the exact same action for Irving, who just turns and launches it, and the man is hotter than the sun. That's 39 points in the first half, sending the crowd into a frenzy. Way back in 1985, Larry Bird put on a classic shooting exhibition in Atlanta, scoring 60 points and flipping the visiting crowd in his favor. They were loudly cheering for him by the end of the game. Heck, the Hawks bench was cheering for him that game. He was so locked in. And by the third quarter, the Amway Center had a similar feel, urging on Kyrie's majestic shooting. He started the second half with a defensive play that led to another transition runout and even more free throws. Despite the final score, the offensive festival was interrupted with brief moments of defense, most notably Andre Drummond absolutely stamping this Mo Bamba block. Okay, back to Kyrie, who was sitting on 42 points before getting into this running floater off the glass, plus a free throw, and a few minutes later the Nets ran some Kevin Durant pick and roll action, and the Magic forget about Kyrie, and he's up to 48. The next trip down, Cole Anthony had to guard him one-on-one, and Irving left him behind before stumbling, recovering, and then hanging in the air before kissing off the glass for his 50-pack. And we all know about Kyrie's handle, but that's some impressive hang time and vertical bounce. At this point, it felt like he might go for 80, but the Magic started regularly double-teaming him, which led to one of the great heat checks in league history, but also opened up some wide-open offense for his teammates off of Kyrie's passing. I'm not sure the crowd was happy with that business decision, but they gave him a healthy ovation when he checked out in the third with 51 points, and then on his first play back in the fourth, he busted out an Allen Iverson stop on a dime crossover for another mid-range dagger. When he did find himself in single coverage, it was go time, jab-stepping Fultz off him for yet another step back, and since Orlando was doubling him immediately whenever he had the ball in his hands, the only thing left to do was move off the ball, go instantly off the catch, drilling his 8th three-pointer of the game in just 12 attempts, giving Kyrie Irving a career-high 60 points in 35 minutes before finally checking out of the game for good in what was an absolutely mesmerizing performance on a Tuesday night in Orlando. To support this channel, head over to patreon.com/thinkingbasketball, where there's more content, a community Discord, proprietary stats, and more. Let me know your thoughts on the incredible offensive performances we've seen lately, including this one down below. And in the meantime, of course, I hope that you are having a great day.